Hi, I'm Kristen Uredig. I'm a certified financial planner and founder of the financial planning firm Brooklyn Plans. I'm very excited to present you with a Financial Literacy Month exclusive financial wellness tips for uncertain times. You may have been hearing a lot on the news and a lot of rumors and information on social media about what's available to you to help you through these challenging times with your finances. And we're here to cut through that noise. And today's topic is on all of the payment relief that's available to you and also what is not available, because there's a lot of mixed information and we want to cut through that noise for you a little bit to let you know what programs exist and how you can take advantage of them. This content is sponsored by DailyPay. They are a payment experience company. They help employees control the timing of their pay, monitor their earnings, and build up savings. Check them out at dailypay.com. Right now, they're offering users free next day transfers because of everything that's going on and the financial landscape that we're all working with. Before I dive into the content, we're going to start with what rent relief is available. We're going to go through mortgage, credit card, and utilities, what does and doesn't exist, and wrap up with some pro tips and also let you know what future content you can expect from us this month. Before that, I just want to let you know that I'm going to be focusing on programs that are nationally available. This information that we're providing is going to be nationally available, so we want to make sure it's relevant to everyone. However, there are lots of particular rules and guidelines that are available and issued through the states and local governments as well. So I encourage you to connect with your state and city's resources through looking up the government websites, and I'll try and point you a little bit more in the right direction of when there might be state or city impacts as we go. Let's start with rent. That's the big one for most people, right? That's the main concern. How am I going to pay the rent? So there is rent relief available federally, and because of the coronavirus legislation that was passed, and we're going to go over what the options are. If your landlord has a federally backed mortgage, then there is a hold on all evictions, or also called a moratorium, for 120 days starting March 27th of 2020, going until July 25th of 2020. Now, you might ask, which is a logical follow-up question, how would I know if my landlord has a federally backed mortgage? This is inconclusive at this point. There is not a clear resource how you would get this information. When HUD was asked, the response given by their PR person was to contact a senior HUD official. So there's not a clear platform to do this. What I would suggest, given that there is no clear tool or available resource, is to email or use snail mail and write a letter requesting a hold on a pause on any eviction proceedings and asking your landlord to confirm whether or not they have a federally backed mortgage that would qualify you for this program. That's my best suggestion. If you can get them to respond in writing to that point, and whether or not you qualify, you have a paper trail, and I think people would be unlikely to lie to their tenants given that it's a federal program. So that is my best advice of how you would be able to access that right now. But the on paper law says that you have 120 days from March 27th, during which time you cannot be evicted. And in addition to that, fees must be waived, late fees and any other fees that your landlord would usually charge if you're unable to pay the rent. It does not mean that the rent is not due or that you don't owe that rent. It just means that you cannot be evicted until July 25th if your landlord, again, has a federally backed mortgage. So what if you don't qualify? If your landlord does not have a federally backed mortgage, many states are implementing their own rules on this across the board. Also some cities. So my best advice is to check out nolo.com. They have in their legal encyclopedia section a resource of all eviction and rent provisions going on right now, state by state and even city by city within those states, and what's available. So that is a helpful resource, short of anything official being issued, because these responses are at the state level. Oftentimes it's difficult to find one central repository, but they've kind of gathered that for us. If you're a homeowner, there is also mortgage relief available. There are protections for you in terms of both moratorium and forbearance, and we'll go over those terms a little bit more. So foreclosure moratorium means a hold, a stop. There can be no foreclosures for 60 days, so that would put us into the month of May from when it was issued. So May 17th, 2020 would be the last day that there can be no foreclosures initiated. There is also mortgage forbearance, meaning that you would not have to make payments for a period of time on your mortgage. So this is for people facing financial hardship, and it is for 180 days starting on March 18th. So that'll give you through 6 months. And you can extend another 180 days if after that time you are still unable to pay. So just to make it very plain, mortgage forbearance means that you don't have to pay on your mortgage during this time. You do have to request that, and you have to have a formal agreement from your servicer, but they are supposed to allow you to do that. And it is not supposed to be reported on your credit report, but we recommend that you wait till you have that formal agreement and you see it in writing before you stop making payments to ensure that it doesn't hurt your credit. Do you qualify? This is, again, for those who have federally backed mortgages. So you have to check Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae websites. They have a lookup tool that you can use to see if your mortgage is federally backed. You'd have to have the last 4 of your social and some information about your loan. You can also contact your mortgage servicer to see if they can just break it down for you. So that would be a bank or whoever you got your mortgage through. And some mortgage servicers are voluntarily doing this even if the mortgage is not federally backed. The CFPB, is this Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, is recommending that mortgage servicers work with borrowers as much as possible. So the bottom line is communicate and contact your mortgage servicer to find out what you qualify for and what you may be eligible for. Even if you don't have a federally backed mortgage, there may be other things that they can work out with you. Again, these options of not being foreclosed on, of not making a payment, they don't mean that you won't eventually owe the money. It's just postponing what is due. So it's not really payment relief in the sense that it will be waived. It's payment relief in the sense that you won't have to pay it right now, and the timing could really help for a lot of people. And whatever will help people stay in their homes is number one. Let's talk about credit card payment relief next. I know that can be very stressful for people. A lot of people have these types of bills, and the interest is usually much, much higher than you would see on other types of debts, and that debt can balloon, which is stressful if you're already having some financial difficulties. So the number one thing I would say here, and you're probably going to hear me say this a lot by the end of this video, is communicate, communicate, communicate. Credit card companies are in the business of loaning money, getting that money back, and then getting interest on top of it from you, making money on lending out the money. So they are very interested in getting that money back eventually. Right now, they are probably experiencing a lot of people who are unable to repay them. It's in their best interest to work with you. However, it's also in their best interest to try to get every dollar from you that they can. So it's definitely worth calling, letting them know the situation, and seeing what they can do for you. I have heard reports from clients where interest rates have been lowered, and you could also request some kind of payment plan if you're going to have trouble making those bills. The key is to call before you have a missed payment and be proactive to try to work something out before it's already happened, and they might be less likely to work with you. As far as utilities payment relief goes, the best advice is to contact your service provider or check with your state or local agency. Federally, there's nothing at the national level that is requiring that utilities payments, your electric, your gas companies, that they do anything to provide payment relief. However, there are certain states and cities that have requested that there be no shutoffs and have mandated that from utility companies. Again, that doesn't mean that you wouldn't owe that money for those utilities at some point in time, but they are doing a hold on all service shutoffs or on some service shutoffs, again, depending on the state or city and what has been stipulated. So I encourage you to check out nolo.com. That's the resource again. In their legal encyclopedia, they have a list of states and cities and their rent payment relief and utilities payment relief by state or city. And that would be your best bet for figuring out if you have any utilities payment relief. All right, so some pro tips if you're going to be accessing some of these programs. One is to keep records. That's very important. You are the one that will know best who said what and when. So write down employee names that you talked to, dates, times, employee ID numbers, and what was said. And keep good documentation so that you can reference not just if you have an issue, say, well, somebody told me this or that. If you have the name, the date, the time, and what was said, it's much better to have a thorough record in case you should need it. Be patient. All of these agencies, banks, servicers are being inundated with calls. If you do need to get on the phone, I would suggest trying to avoid it. But if you do, be ready to be on hold for a while and to have a good chunk of time to take care of it because it may take up some time for you to get through. And lastly, keep a paper trail. If anybody is going to need to prove that you qualified for this, it's you. It's gonna fall on you. So if you skip a mortgage payment, if you skip a rent payment, make sure that you have all of the documentation and hang on to that, showing that you qualified, that you made an agreement, and that you have the records that can back up why you did it, should it come to that going forward. Thank you so much for hanging out and getting all of this good information about what relief may be available to you so that you can put some money back in your wallet or just get through this difficult time. Check us out every week in April. We are going to have a new video or two on financial wellness tips to help you and your family navigate these uncertain times. Also check out brooklynplans.org. I'm Kristen Uredig, the founder of the financial planning firm Brooklyn Plans. And again, this content was sponsored by DailyPay. Check them out at dailypay.com. And tune in next time. We have some very exciting topics coming down the pike for you, and we can't wait to keep sharing all of our resources so that you have the best and most up-to-date information possible.